Hello and welcome to the Watchin It podcast. On today's show, Robert says oil wells and box offices go boom. Donnell says sometimes you just need a fixer. And in Daredevil, I'm pretty sure that's not enough blood to paint that picture. All that and more. I'm your host, Donnell, and with me as always is Robert. If this is your first time tuning into our podcast, we just like to dissect shows and movies, give our thoughts and reviews, and just kind of do little deep dives into everything we like to watch. And we're going to be diving in today to a little more Daredevil.
Yep, Daredevil, Born Again, Season 1, Episode 7, Art for Art's Sake.
Yep.
And I just now understood what that meant, what that was related to.
Nice,
Yep.
nice. I think a few episodes back, I can't remember what episode it was, but the I think it was episode 2, maybe 3. But the court episode, you were very disgruntled about, which I did agree with you about most of your points. I think this is the disgruntled episode for me.
Really?
Yes.
You know what? I think this is the best episode they've done this season.
No, this episode bothered me a
Okay,
lot.
well, that's excellent. Excellent. Let's get to it. Okay, we start out with a Fisk meeting.
Yep.
He learns that Daredevil rescued the girl from Muse in his lair.
Yep.
We get a brief scene with Matt. There we go. And Heather.
That is his name.
She's talking about all his bruises.
Yeah.
She's
like
playing doctor.
I like that. So he's in the shower, and she comes in and she sees a wound on his back, and he tries. Or he successfully, but to use some sex to get her to forget about it. I'm like, yeah, but what you don't understand, Matt, is you aren't just dating any old chick. This is a psychologist. Yeah. I just love CCB.
World-renowned psychologist.
Now that we're done with the fun, let's get back to what the hell's going on.
Let's talk about feelings.
And start. And I mean, it just plays into. I'm like, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, this is jumping out, but I feel like he has to know by now. But I'm like, you're not gonna be able to. You can't date a psychologist and be a mass vigilante and not have them figure it out.
So there's going to be a season 2. She signed on for season 2.
Yep.
I think definitely by the end of this season, if not very quickly, she's going to learn that he is.
I feel like she has to. I mean, she's just being a psychologist. She's smart. She's too smart to be like, well, let's see. Matt goes out at night. Daredevil shows up. Daredevil disappears. Matt shows up at home.
Yeah.
And Matt has random bruises on.
Yeah,
I'm like, there's just so much. It's like this woman's gonna connect some dots pretty quick here.
Well, it's just like, why would Superman wear glasses?
Yeah,
it's no way a blind man could be a superhero, kind of thing.
Yeah.
We switch to the law office. He talks with Cherry.
Yeah.
And Cherry's just basically figures out, knows he's back in the costume.
Yeah.
And he's just like, nope, I'm not being part of this.
He's just like, no, man, I didn't realize until this episode or until this scene that I didn't realize that Cherry was like part of the reason why he wasn't, because he even says like, I pulled you out of that life,
Well, remember in the first episode,
I know
Cherry
in the first episode, Cherry did find him. I didn't realize that Cherry was also like part of the reason why he stopped.
Well, we skipped like what, 2 years? Or more? Yeah,
exactly. But so we find out Cherry is very anti-vigilante, or at least anti-Daredevil.
Another quick scene with Fisk where he's talking about how Daredevil took down all his business and his world. And
Talking
I'm like,
with his man.
But what about when he had like the tracksuits and all that stuff? Was that like, did Daredevil take that down?
You can't really tell.
There's some timeline stuff I'm missing that's not flowing here.
Yeah.
Or are they just ignoring Hawkeye? Because they're totally.
I mean, they've addressed stuff that happened in Hawkeye and Echo in this show, so it's like they have made it obvious.
And they had the swordsman.
And they had the swordsman. So they have made it obvious
Echo,
that this is not ignoring those storylines. Like Fisk, all this stuff we saw it happen in Hawkeye and Echo. This Fisk went through it, so we know it's the same guy, obviously, and so it is very weird how some of the timeline stuff was like, I don't get it.
Yeah. I also took the time to look up the name of his little fixer guy, his left hand, Buck. Yeah, he's got a Bucky.
Yeah. He's a very interesting guy. I like the scene because I'm like, you have your yes man on both sides of the spectrum. Because I like the scene when it's Buck and I can't remember the other dude's name, but the little stooge he has.
Yeah.
And they're
internet
both
guy,
there.
yeah.
They're both wearing the suits and stuff, and they're both like answering his questions that the internet stooge is wrong with his answers or not. But
like,
still,
yeah.
I like that. It's like, yeah, these are his two yes men. And both he has his legal yes men and his illegal yes men. But both these guys, and honestly, I'm pretty sure his legal yes men will do illegal stuff for him. But yeah, he's the one who gets to come out in the daylight.
A brief scene where Murdoch goes and talks to Angela in the hospital.
Yeah.
I think it's funny that he's questioning her, but
I
he
thought
knows
it was
all the answers.
very weird. That scene actually didn't make much sense to me because I mean I get him going to see her because he's more. I mean he is her lawyer-ish, but also they've established that he cares about her more than just as a lawyer, a professional thing.
Creepy.
No, not in that sense. She's the daughter-ish of a fellow vigilante who passed away, so he's looking out for her. But so they have said that. But then when he starts asking her questions, I'm like, why are you asking those questions? You were there. It's just like I was like, but yeah. So they, basically, he goes and sees her, asks some questions, and gets some more stuff before heading over himself. Well, the task force goes first and is there. Oh no! Actually, we get the
they
scene.
send two
detectives,
cops,
yeah,
to go check out the Muse HQ.
Yeah,
I'm like, no, you send a team.
You send a team.
I mean, a team does show up later.
It does later, but like this is the prolific. Actually, that's the other thing. Jumping back to so Fisk when he's meeting with his two stooges is talking about Muse, and I really like that Buck is like, dude, serial killings happen all the time in New York. I'm like, one, not true. Killings do, serial killers don't, and even still, it's like if Muse was a real serial killer. He is on a different level than a lot because, like most serial killers, their body count taps out at, if they're a prolific one, is like 12, 13.
I mean, there are a couple with hundreds.
No, that's what I'm saying. There are a couple, but those are the really. So I'm like, Muse is not just he's killed 60 people. Like Buck is like, why are you focusing on this one so much? Like even outside of Fisk having his personal thing of not wanting Daredevil back, just looking at a big picture, I'm like, I'm sorry. There's a difference between this man killed. 13 is still way too many, but still, this man killed 13 people, and this man has been killing 60 people, and a
lot of podcasts are going to be made about this guy. A lot,
exactly.
For like the next 100 years, we're going to be talking about this guy.
100%.
We get a scene with Veronica. Valerie. What is her name? Fisk's wife.
Veronica. Yeah.
Veronica.
Yeah, Veronica.
Okay. Yeah. And Luca.
Yeah.
And Luca's basically like, hey, things were better. We were richer when you were in charge. Maybe you should be in charge again.
Come back.
And she kind of, we learned she pretends.
Yeah. But she seems to like be considering that. She's like, what are you asking for? My permission or my help? And I like Luca's like, that's up to you.
And then we get Dr. Glenn.
Yep.
Having a session with Bastion.
Yep. And so
I'm like, this is the Muse.
So this is where I had
played by Hunter Doohan.
Yes.
Who plays the monster in Wednesday.
Ooh. Nice.
Yeah, the love interest in Wednesday.
I did not know that. Very nice. Nice connection. But yeah, so I had some smaller issues with this episode before this part, but this is where my issues start. My issues are coming from being a fan of comics, and I know that they change things in the MCU and in all movies, of course. They've done it with everything, but this for me is a affront to who this character is, because Muse is kind of on the same level of the Joker in the sense of not as how big of a villain he is for his thing, but of how Batman, the Joker is the Joker for Joker's sake. There's no rhyme or reason to what he's doing, and the Muse is an unknown enigma. No one in the comics. No one knows who the Muse is. They don't even know if he's purported to have superpowers, but they don't know if he's human. They don't know these things, and that adds to the mystique. And so when they like, and here's Muse, just a normal guy, I was like, no. That and like that thing is, we were
they definitely dumbed him down because in the wiki, he's got all these powers. He's got super strength. He's got like the sense deadening stuff and whatnot. He's got some super speed. And in this, he's just good at Taekwondo.
And he's not even, that's the thing is they give that Taekwondo, but once again, this fight between which I'm jumping ahead to, but the fight between Daredevil and Muse in this episode, more cements. Just like this isn't even. They're not even in the same league. Like it wasn't even a fight at all. So I'm just like they've just taken this character who like when they first alluded to the Muse being in this, I got excited because I was like, ooh,
yeah.
And then when they actually made him, because I was thinking Disney might dumb him down in a different way in the sense of like maybe he's not as violent or stuff. But when they made him the serial killer who paints with his, I mean they mainly focused on blood, where in the comics he uses people's innards and stuff too. But still, that was still fine for me. I was like, no, they made him into a serial killer who does art work with the blood of his victims. I was like, yes, Disney's not pulling punches. But then when they just kind of turned him into this like second rate, not even a factor, like, I mean, skipping that, he's dead at the end of this episode. Yeah. I was like, I know Fisk is the big bad. Of course he is. But I thought Muse was going to be around and be a lot more of a factor. And he really isn't. He's like, he literally... no offense to White Tiger, but I feel like he's in the same category of White Tiger. They brought in a character to tell a story point, but they really don't matter who that character is. Like if you took White Tiger out and put in a different Luke Cage, I mean, it would be more impactful if it was Luke Cage. But still, if you took White Tiger out and put in Luke Cage, or
also
put
the bullet wouldn't stop him.
Yeah, true. But if you put in any other, smaller tier hero, the story would be the same. And that's how I feel like with him. Like when they first introduced me, I was like, oh, this is going to be like a real big plot point, and he's going to be really, especially if, like I said, they took away his power, but especially if he has his power, he's going to be a really good antagonist for Daredevil. Yeah. And they're just like, nah, here he is, and now he's dead, and that's it. We're done. Yeah. And I was just
was surprising to me that they killed him.
So I just like, it just bugged me. So when they made him a known person, because that's the thing about, I mean, yes, we do have the Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix, but one is people like that's been said in different, but overall the Joker is always an unknown enigma. And that's what I like about the Muse. It's like one of the guy, I forget one of the horror movie creators, but he says some of the scariest parts in a horror movie is before you see the monster.
Yeah.
And that's what the Joker and the Muse are in comics. I mean, of course you see them, but like you don't know why they're doing it. You don't know. You can't stop them because you don't know what caused them to do that. And when they're just like
humanized,
when they're just when they're just like, here he is, and he's a guy, and he has parental problems. I was just like, that's it.
So the flaw that I find in this episode, like you've got Muse past. Yeah. I didn't know about Muse before this show, so I'm not as I get that it's surprising me they killed him and that. They took away his powers and stuff. So they definitely did the character dirty. Yeah. But for me, I didn't have the investment that you do. True, so I still have a lot for this episode. What I don't understand is he's in the office, he's talking to her, he gets a nosebleed, talking about martial arts, all this stuff, and then he attacks her.
A whole podium with one little drop of nosebleed.
And then it cuts to Daredevil looking in the Muse HQ.
Yes.
Going through the pictures.
This is another one of my qualms.
Figures out that it's her. Now, the reason he's able to is because the first pictures don't make any sense. But then he finds one that's like very like textured.
But this is where I have an issue because don't get me wrong. And I actually, at first I was going to call out this scene as a positive, and it still is a positive. But in the beginning scene when him and Heather are having their emotional moment and they kiss, and then he runs his hands over her face, I really like that because it's how he sees her and stuff. And so I really like that scene. I was going to call it out, but I was waiting to now. But I'm like, at the end of the day, there is no medium where you could paint like they're making Muse such a great artist that he can somehow get the set where Daredevil could tell by rubbing his hands that this is the same face.
No, it's like, definitely
things will be in the same location, but no, the actual texture of her face and the way the contours is which is what he's feeling would not be the same on a piece of paper as actually touching her face. So that's another part where I was annoyed because I'm like, I get that we have to get Daredevil there to save her, but I'm like, find something else out because this is so fantastical.
I don't know where her office is. I need a map to see how far he had to travel to get to her because his Muse's work would have been done long before he showed up. From the scene. I do like that there is a brief scene with Fisk. And I like the line that he drops, the thin, dark line. That's very good, very topical kind of thing. Very good line.
So Muse is getting ready to finish his work, he said.
Oh, he's drawing blood from her. Sorry. Yeah. I said Muse drawing blood, and I'm just like, he's not drawing in blood yet. No, he's removing the blood from her body. Yes. And I didn't understand, like, he's just bleeding her, but also taking blood. Like, why did he cut her, like slit her wrist, and also... but did not use that as a place to draw the blood from. He's wasting blood.
So what I think is happening, because I think what he's doing in this scene is like they kind of even phrase it this way, and I'm not sure if it, but like maybe it was like going to be a murder suicide sort of thing of because that's one thing we didn't. So Bastion is also obsessed with Heather. And basically says C is the reason he is who he is. C is the reason why he is a Muse. C opened the doors for him. And so my thought is that this was intended to be his final, possibly. He might have continued on, but also might have intended to be his final
his
work.
masterpiece.
And so I don't think he's bleeding her like normal. Like that's why he's taking it straight from the source because like he pulls out the canvas and everything. So I was like, I think he's like about to get to work right now.
Gotcha. He doesn't want to just save up the blood in the big jar. He wants it to be directly from her, fresh
onto the canvas,
not mixed with others.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Because he makes it very clear that he sees Heather as like his muse.
Yeah. so the cops arrive outside. He starts freaking out, and then she says the line that I feel is kind of stupid. That says, "Anyone who needs a mask is a coward."
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's not why they're wearing the mask.
Yeah.
They're wearing the mask. I mean,
for you.
It's not cowardly to not want your enemies to know who you are.
Or your loved ones. Like, that's what a lot of them say they wear the mask for, is for their loved ones. So like, he's wearing the mask for you.
So their enemies don't know who they... Yeah, exactly.
Not for himself. But no, I was going to say...
We can't all be Thor.
Yeah.
You know? We can't all just teleport to another galaxy whenever we want.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And all my relatives also happen to be powerful gods themselves, so even if they are in danger, they can probably fight it. But so when the cops, that's the other thing is, so that's the thing I don't understand about this scene is Muse. So Muse, I love when he has her in the chair. This is before he actually cuts her open, and he's like, "Now I know what you're thinking right now. Can I make it to the door?" And when she jumps up, I'm like, "No, like that was such a lead. Like he wants you to try.
You needed to get some distance between you, like get him to walk to the other side of the room or something.
Yeah, but he's literally right there.
Yeah.
But so he knocks her out, and then she wakes up tied to the chair.
By the way, I would have been out of the room way earlier in the conversation.
Yeah. Once I figured out he was Muse, I'd be like politely just like, "Oh yeah, that's good. Tell me some more." I'm like, "Oh, you know what? I just remember I printed out something that I got from the other room." And I'm out. But anyways, so they arrive at this building, the cops do, and they have to breach the front door. And that's where I'm like, so you're telling me, wait, Muse knocked her out, got up, left her thing, went all the way down the stairs. I'm like, are there no other psychiatrists, other people in this building? Locked the front door and then also locked her door. Like, I just thought them breaching the front door was weird. Like, I get breaching the office door because he locks the office door. But I'm like, you're telling me Muse wandered through this whole building, got keys somehow for the front door? Like, see, just because he has an office in this building doesn't mean he has keys for the front door. So I'm like, where do you get that? Where do you get the building? Yeah. I was just like, yeah, the cops breached. But anyways, that's just a little detail.
So Daredevil arrives. Smashing through the window.
Yep.
The front window of the building. The cops are already there.
Yep, down below.
They definitely know what floor she's on.
Yep.
There's not someone already with their eyes glued to those windows.
I feel like there should have been.
That sees Daredevil swoop in.
Because the cops don't put that Daredevil was there until they breach into the office and they're able to see it. And I'm like, I feel like if you have I guess they didn't have a known hostage. They had an assumed hostage situation.
Yeah.
You're watching all entry and exit points from that building, including the window. Even if she is on the 4th floor, you don't know. Psychopath. This guy's a psychopath. So you're watching all entries and exits. I thought that too. I was like, no one's watching the window that Daredevil smashed through.
Yeah. It's a pretty good fight.
It's a pretty good fight.
I like when he does his
one-sided. It's completely one-sided.
No, Muse should have been harder to defeat.
Like, especially after they alluded to, like I said before, I get he doesn't have his superpowers, but they alluded to, it's like, oh yeah, he was trained by a master taekwondoist, and I'm like, I ain't seeing none of that here.
Yeah. I also don't know enough about taekwondo to know like what the style would be.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem like he was fighting with any particular style.
Whatever, and that but no, I do like but also this fight, the end of this fight does make me lean a little bit towards the whole like this was his final work of art, because he's fighting with Daredevil, and then like he gets Daredevil down for a second, and instead of like going for a kill or anything, he thinks I feel like he goes for the knife and goes after Heather. And I'm like, yeah, I really see this as like him like, well, I got to complete my work, which is Heather. So I do think like
sometimes art is dirty.
Yep. I was like, I do think this was like him viewing like this is the end of my what I've been trying to achieve. This is my pierre de resistance.
So Heather ends up shooting him.
Yeah,
I guess she had a gun.
I have no idea.
Where did the gun come from?
I see had.
I think she made her way over to her desk and pulled the gun out of her.
Because I was like, if not, I have no. Muse didn't have no gun, and of course Daredevil didn't. Yeah. And so, so Heather shoots him, but then she passes out from blood loss, or is in and out, and Matt comes up to her and is calling her name before she fully passes out. And I was just like, everybody makes fun of Christian Bale and his gravelly Batman voice. He did in those movies. But the more I think about it, the more I'm like, yeah, Daredevil's been using, for both Matt Murdock and Daredevil, he uses his normal voice all the time. And I'm like, yeah, no, that ain't going to fly.
Also, like, he would smell the same. Mm-hmm. That's a very distinctive thing, is like smell or gait. Like, there's a lot of ways that you can...
I mean, I feel like Gate's
a difficult one for him because he does change his gait when he's...
That's what I was about to say. I feel like he is aware of his body enough that I bet you... I mean, I haven't been watching, like, with Severance when I was noticing the gaits there, but I bet you if you pay attention, like, if the art writers are, they'd be like, yeah, Matt Murdock walks like this while... Daredevil. I mean, one is Matt Murdock walks with a cane where Daredevil doesn't. So, I imagine Daredevil... with how in tune with his body is, I imagine he is very. I was like, I can't walk the same.
Also, he's got like, I wouldn't say super distinctive stubble, but prominent stubble.
Yep,
and
his
jaws just hanging out there.
Yeah, no, I
like the joke about like Batman, like he takes his mask off and he's got like his lips or like the area around where his mask doesn't cover is sunburned.
Yeah. Well, I always like the joke about Batman going out to do crime, because like in most of the Batmans he has the dark around his eyes, and so it's like Batman before he goes out to fight crime is like putting on mascara. Doing up his thing, like hold up. Yeah. Before we head out, let me finish this touch-up job real quick.
And then he takes his mask off. He's like, I wash this off real fast. It's so stupid. Anyway, so that's over.
The cops
Daredevil
bust
leaves.
into the room. Daredevil's gone though.
Fisk comes and visits the crime scene.
Yep.
And he looks around and he's just like, they're like, oh, we think Daredevil was here, and he's like, nope, it was you guys.
You guys
did it.
You saved the day.
The task force stopped him.
I'm just like, yeah, you like. Heather's alive though. And she's not. I mean, maybe she will, but I feel like Heather's a person of integrity and stuff. Where it's like she's not gonna lie for you, Fisk. Like I feel like she's the kind of person who, like, even if you are the kingpin, like she's gonna stand up to you. She seems like that kind of person. So I'm just like, no matter how much the task force says it, if the person who actually got attacked and is a survivor of the attack is like, no, Daredevil said the cops didn't get until after. I'm gonna believe her. Over what the cops say. So I was just like, I don't know if this is a solid plan. If Heather had died, then maybe it makes sense, but she's alive.
She's going to tell her story.
Yeah.
It's not going to work. Which makes that scene where they try and like manipulate the press through BB.
Yeah.
BB is not going to be manipulated.
Yeah, that's other things. BB, but I also love like bringing in Internet Bro to be like, you do it. I'm like, come on, if you want to have Buck.
Well, they're friends.
I know they're friends, but he's like he's like, are you threatening me? He's like, no, I'm just saying your life could be awesome or it could suck. And I'm like, you're just not an intimidating
You're not getting
force.
Invited to the club anymore.
Yeah.
We are already kind of like, this guy's of 3 and we're 11, and so, kind of stuff. We get Heather and Murdoch at the hospital.
Yep.
And she's like already questioning things.
Yeah, he
like,
called my name.
Yeah.
Which I'm like,
I would also be like,
called my name in your voice.
I would also be like, why was he even there? How did he know to come for me specifically? Like it's like, oh, he saw the picture, but how does he know it was me? It's there's too many red flags.
There's too much that's like, if she doesn't know yet, if we go through another episode and she don't know, I'm gonna be like, how? How do you not know?
They do a little press conference with the task force, and Fisk is there. I love the little uncomfortable, like not used to smile he does. Yeah, like he's just like, I don't know how to smile. Yeah, like, this is not something I do.
Yeah, no, it's good.
Then we get Veronica.
Yep. Calling.
Texting Luca.
Oh yeah, texting
with the
Luca.
address of where Fisk is gonna be.
Yep.
And then
did you for any moment believe it?
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay. I was like going into it, but then the more I was like, there's no way. I was like, I was like,
I mean, yeah, obviously.
I guess
he would survive.
The thing I was thinking is,
but
like,
I could see the betrayal happening.
I could see the betrayal, and actually, the betrayal would be a good.
I mean, Fisk already betrayed her.
Yeah,
he said he wouldn't do anything to the guy.
Yeah, but she doesn't know about that.
Yeah, but you could say like she found out or something.
But no, I was gonna say, I will say actually that betrayal would be. I mean, we already have a lot of the stuff in motion for Fisk to become Kingpin again.
Oh yeah,
but
I mean that's gonna happen.
I know. I'm just saying, but that betrayal, him being betrayed by Veronica, would be the ultimate like linchpin.
That would break him.
Full on.
I think that would just break him. I don't even think that would be like he would go back to Kingpin. I think he would just give up on everything.
Maybe
he would go hide in a corner again.
But Veronica doesn't betray him. It's Luco who's getting double crossed. And he gets shot in the head by Buck. And I just love. I mean, like I said, this is a common thing when it comes to like gangster movies and stuff. But just the. Hey, ask Veronica. She wants me to bring home some of Buck's like, sure. Like, just how casual they are with it. I just love that. Just like, they just move on. Like, oh, yeah, by the way, do you think she wants some leftovers? She might want some. We should get her some leftovers.
Being a thoughtful husband.
Right after you just had a man murdered.
That's funny. And that's the episode.
Yeah.
I can understand your qualms with it.
It's a good episode of the show. It's a bad episode if you know the characters.
I think
I'll
accept. I'll defer to your better knowledge than me.
Yeah.
But I mean, I agree with you that they underuse this character. I mean, if we're assuming he's really dead.
Yeah, there's a possibility.
Maybe there's some way they're gonna bring him back
Maybe they will,
life.
or maybe they will reveal he has superpowers and that's how he survives. I don't know, but his superpowers want to keep him alive.
Maybe he's gonna get a blood transfusion from somebody with superpowers. But
yeah,
I think he's gone.
I do
don't
too.
Think they're gonna bring him back.
Because, like I said, I think I kind of put him in the same category as White Tiger.
I would be if they killed him in this way, where he took 2 45s to the chest,
like 3, but
then they bring him back. That would be more upsetting.
That would that would also be upsetting for me too.
Not underutilizing him,
and it'd also be even more upsetting because if you're going to do that, then why underutilize? Like, if you're going to bring him back, then just don't kill him in the first place. Like, that would be another reason. So, yeah, it'd be if they brought him back, I would be even more pissed, actually. Even though I'm upset with how they used them, I'm like, don't make it worse. But yeah.
Hey, if you like the show, you should check out our website, watchinitpod.com. There you can find links to our social media and to support us on the Patreons and the Spotifys. And you can also email us, watchinitpodcast@gmail.com. Give us your thoughts on the Muse and Daredevil and all that good stuff. We also have our website. We have our blogs up and running. They are rolling weekly now.
Yeah.
So go check those out. Yeah. Good times.
All right, Robert.
Sad news.
Yes.
Do the sad news. Speaking of Batman.
I was going to segue. Speaking of Batman, we lost Val Kilmer.
Favorite role?
I got to go, because it's just a part of my childhood. I got to go Iceman and Top Gun.
Okay.
I gotta go. I grew up with Top Gun. My dad was in the Navy. That was one of my favorite movies as a kid, and he was just the perfect foil to Tom Cruise in that movie. And yeah, no, I gotta go Iceman. He's done a lot. Don't get me wrong. He's done a lot, but it's just for me. Yeah.
I'm not gonna be taking any risk here. Doc Holliday,
nice.
Tombstone.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just great.
Yeah.
That's why I watch whenever I rewatch Tombstone is to see Val Kilmer playing Doc Holliday.
Yeah.
Just the one of the greatest roles and castings of all time.
Yeah.
But what a loss.
Yeah, it was weird because like it's how the sometimes it happens. Like a lot of times when a celebrity passes, like it's all over instantly. For me, I didn't.
Yeah, his
see
was a slow
that
fade
he
out.
Passed. I just started seeing like people being like posting like different like Batman or different like roles he's been like man and stuff, and I was like, man, that's weird. Like that day, I was like, it's weird that people just suddenly shouting out Val Kilmer, and then the more I was like, oh no, and so that's when I went and looked up, and I was like, oh yeah.
But yeah, he was in the most recent Top Gun.
Yeah, he was,
which was awesome.
Yep.
They
originally they weren't like they said that he wasn't going to make it, but I like that he wanted to be in it, and so he went out.
Is there a documentary that came out about him recently, or there's one that's about to come out?
I believe there's one,
or maybe it's both. That there's one that did come out, and then there's another one that's going to come out.
Yeah,
that's like a bunch of home video and stuff. I'm sure that's going to do gangbusters. Now Now that he's passed away, but yeah, he got throat cancer a while back.
Yeah,
and got surgery, and his voice was shot, and just couldn't act anymore. But still went on. Was active.
Yeah,
And he died of pneumonia.
I know.
I didn't think people still died of pneumonia, but I guess it's because he had other complications.
And so that's the thing that's actually interesting talking about that. A lot of people, actually, because you say you didn't think, but no, actually, a lot of people end up dying of pneumonia these days. But it's always because of that thing is pneumonia secondary in itself is very easy. I don't want to like downplay, but it's very easy to treat and take care of and thing. But it also is very deadly if your body is going through other stuff. So there's a lot of times where like, oh, you had a heart attack or you had different thing, and then you get pneumonia, and usually you'd be able to fight that off and get back, but it just finishes you off. And so like there's actually a lot of people. But yeah, it's sad. I was just looking at the Batman stuff, and I haven't watched it in such a long time, but I actually did watch it recently. Well, not recently because he passed. I watched it again, and I'm just like, while I will never say he was the best Batman, not the worst Batman.
No, definitely not. I don't think he's the best Batman either.
Yeah.
Robert Pattinson may be it for me now.
Robert Pattinson killed it,
but
man.
the Val Kilmer Batman movie is my favorite of the Batman movies.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. The Two-Face and Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Yeah.
Perfect. And I could go all day about that Batman. People are like, they're stupid because they don't like it because of the art style and stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, but you got so much like cool juxtaposition where he's like teetering between being Batman and being Bruce Wayne, and then it's also like the duality of Two-Face, and like you've got a lot of like cool stuff going on.
Oh, it's very, very, very well done. And great.
I like
stuff.
it. I think it. Yeah. Now the George Clooney ones.
That's why I was like, not the best Batman, but definitely not the worst Batman.
1969 is better than
some Adam West Batman. No. But anyways, rest in peace, Val Kilmer.
Indeed,
gave us some great stuff.
All right, Donnell, what you been watching?
I got one more little bit of news actually. We had Avengers Endgame, or Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, which were huge spectacles and all that.
Okay, sidebar.
Yes.
I was talking with my IT coworker at work, and I found out this week this man is 35 plus.
Right.
Has seen less than 50 movies his entire life.
What?
I don't even
know
how that's possible. That upsets me so much.
At my not my last job, but the job before I had that, there was this guy named Kobe, and he was the same way. Like when we would talk about movies, and then he's like, "Oh, I'll write that down. I should watch that." And I was like, "How have you not seen this?" And he's like, "Oh, I really don't watch movies." And I was like, "What?
What are you doing with your time?
I know.
What do you do all day?
I know not everybody's like me and you, Robert, but I just feel like most. Yeah. Please write into the podcast. Just most of you, like, you're watching at least like I'd say on average everybody watches like at least 5 movies a year. That's not too extreme, is it? Like 5 movies a year.
What scares me is that he's seen Endgame, because I asked him if you've seen Endgame.
Okay.
And I'm just like, okay, well then, have you not seen the 20 movies?
Yeah, leading up to Endgame.
Like, what were you doing while the whole time you were watching Endgame, being like, oh, look, a random character. Oh, why are those 2 characters having such an interesting conversation? It's like, because there's been 22 decades of backstory that you haven't watched.
Yes.
Oh, that's crazy to me. Anyway, continue on.
No, I'm glad you brought it, because that is all right. So, anyways, so cast listing has been revealed for Doomsday, the next Avengers movie.
Okay.
And I'm just going to read off.
Insane.
Yeah. Here we go. So I'm just going to read through all this real quick.
It's going to be the next
There's
Avengers
expected, there's unexpected
movie
in here. So we have Patrick Stewart is going to be there. Ian McKellen, which I think is awesome. This one I didn't know, but I'm glad. Alan Cumming. Terrible name. He played Nightcrawler. And I'm like, I love me some Nightcrawler. Okay. I liked him play Nightcrawler, so I'm down for that.
Well, he did that like 20 years ago, too.
So did Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart, and Ian so did this person.
Still alive.
Here's this person, Rebecca
Rebecca Romaine Stamos.
Mystique. Yep. Yeah. Then we have James Marsden as Cyclops, Kelsey Grammer, Beast, right? And then we're getting at it from the Deadpool. We got Channing Tatum Gambit.
Yeah.
Outside of that, though, we also have, so that, of course, we have that. Then, of course, there's stuff Pedro Pascal, Vanessa Kirby, Joseph Quinn, and Ibram Moss Spock.
Yeah, it's crazy they're bringing in the Fantastic
Four.
This means that it is going to be very multiversal.
Yes. Speaking of multiversal.
Now, how much of these people are going to be prominent main characters, or are they just going to be there? Are they just going to, they could be in the...
So I
feel
for
like
for most of the X-Men, except for hopefully Channing Tatum, I feel like for most of the X-Men, though we did get Kelsey Grammer showing up at the end of Watch It. But I still feel like for most of the X-Men, I feel like they're going to be there for the movie, and then they're not going to stick around. I hope Channing Tatum is sticking around.
Yes.
The Fantastic Four is a set piece, so they're definitely there. Then outside there, we got Paul Rudd, of course. We actually have, interestingly, Vanessa Kirby.
Yes.
Invisible Woman.
Yeah, from Fantastic Four.
But not from older Fantastic Four.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So they're mixing. They're not just having the new Fantastic Four. They're pulling from the older. Why does this page keep doing this? But they're pulling from the older movies. Because
No, Vanessa
Kirby is the current. Never mind.
Is the new
never mind. I read it wrong.
With Pedro Pascal.
But anyway, so then we got confirmation of people we haven't known about for a little bit or where they stand. So Chris Hemsworth is still Thor. He's going to be there. Anthony Mackie and Sebastian Stan, of course. You would expect that. Paul Rudd is still Ant-Man, but we also know that that the movie we're going to be seeing here soon, Thunderbolts, is going to be tied in because we have Wyatt Russell, Hannah John Carmen, who is Ghost. Wyatt Russell, of course, is John Walker. We have Namor is making a return, and here's one that I'm really excited about.
Oh, I hate Namor.
I'm not a big fan of him, but here's one I'm really excited about, and I'm glad. I mean, expected, but still, Tom Hiddleston. Loki's back, folks.
Yeah.
And then to wrap things up, we have...
Now, do you think he's going to be like Prime Loki, or if he's going to be like a variant Loki?
I think it's going to be Prime Loki.
Okay. He's going to step down from his tree job?
Yeah. And then to wrap things up, the last one, which we haven't seen this guy since his movie, is Simin Liu, who plays Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
And so, yep. Just quite a cast. Of course, they also...
Now, when does this movie come out? When is Doomsday coming out?
Next year.
That's too soon. We need to... feel like
May
we need a lot
2026,
of other
almost a year after Thunderbolts. But
do we have anything between that? Because I feel like we don't
Fantastic
have enough.
Four.
That's not enough setup for whatever going to happen in.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. Maybe I'm not sure if there's another movie earlier before Doomsday. Actually, that's interesting. We'll look that up. We'll talk about it some other time. Or something. But yeah, just very interesting. Nice to see the cast listing. Nice to see that once again they're going big. So it'd be interesting.
Well, that's going to be like your Avengers Prime movie, like your the Avengers, Age of Ultron, like Endgame, Infinity War. Like that's going to be one of those movies.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, 100%.
The big one.
The big ones. Yeah. Yep. All right. And then what I've been watching is, and crap, now I can't remember what streaming service
he doesn't
it's
even
on.
know.
No, I know what I'm watching. I just can't remember what streaming service it's on. I'm watching a new show just came out. It's called Mobland.
Okay.
And
that is not on my radar.
Yeah, it was not on my radar either.
I saw that it was a thing, but I've ignored it.
It popped up, and I saw the casting, and I was like, okay, interested because it is Tom Hardy, Pierce Brosnan, and Helen Mirren.
Oh, you know what? I think I have added this to my radar.
And
so 8 out of 10 on IMDb.
Yes, it is. There's only 2 episodes out, so I'm not speaking that much. But so far, it is good, Robert. This is one I would recommend to you. Another reason I'm in it is executive producing and directing some of the episodes is Guy Ritchie, who I've always been a fan of. Though as I went back through his filmography today, I realized, man, this man has tanked a lot of movies. But I've always been a fan of his gangster movies. Like Snatch and that sort of stuff. And that's what this is. This is a mob. It's called Mobland. And so in it, so it started off as, I didn't know this, it started off as it was really going to be a prequel series or origin stories called The Donovans about the origin story of Ray Donovan from the show that came out. They eventually spun it off to make it a separate thing that's not related to Ray Donovan. But
if it's got that feel, I liked Ray Donovan.
Yeah, exactly. And so Tom Hardy plays a fixer for a crime family led by Helen Mirren, Pierce Brosnan, and it's like I said, it's only 2 episodes in, but I'm already like, I'm liking this.
I'm sold.
I'm liking it.
I'm sold.
And streaming service, once again, it was Paramount Plus. There it is, folks. I was like, I know one.
Not sold, Donnell. Not sold. Not sold.
I know. If I would have said a Max or Apple TV, I know you'd be more sold.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Paramount is the ones because it has the same. Know what it has in or it has the same MTV logo.
Oh yeah.
That Lioness has.
Yeah.
So Paramount Plus may be catching on to something here.
Yeah.
This is their second time. We're like,
those MTV shows are pretty good.
Yeah. But so if you're, I'd say check it out if you're interested or if you like any of the actors. So far I'm enjoying it.
I'm still working my way through the Blacklist. I'm on. I just got to season 10.
Okay.
I'm kind of. It's been slow. I'm kind of like, it's a slog.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. You get to. They do something at the end of season 8. And then it kind of goes through a state change for season 9, so it's been hard to get through, and I'm sure 10 is going to be hard to get through as well. Yeah. I'm ready for it to be over.
Right.
They kind of answered a lot of questions, so it's just like, okay, what are we doing now, guys? Kind of stuff.
How are we going to wrap this up?
I started playing a new video game called Scheduled One. It's an early access video game. It just went live, I think this week. It's already got 1 million players. It's by a single dev. He's made $20 million, $40 million or something. He's
rich.
He's doing well. It is very, very early access, so it feels great. Yeah. But the story is not fleshed out. But it is an agricultural life sim with a focus on automation about manufacturing and selling illegal narcotics, and it is wholesome.
It is
getting your landlady addicted to meth. It's it is. It's weird. It's fun. It's fun to play though, and it's very addictive. Funny enough to play. I can't stop. Except to record this podcast. In fact, we recorded a podcast before this with Bob, and then I played for 30 minutes, and now we record the other podcast. It's I need it.
Need to get your fix, Robert. Need to get your fix.
This past week, I rewatched a movie called Deepwater Horizon.
I've heard of it. I may have seen it. I can't remember.
It is fantastic. Say what you will about Mark Wahlberg.
Okay, but I haven't seen it.
It is a dramatization of the Deepwater Horizon explosion incident.
Yeah,
and it's just really well done. John Malkovich is in it. It's it's got a lot of good actors, and just very well done. And one of the most awesome explosions ever depicted in movie history. I've seen it a couple of times before. That's how good it is. I've watched it, probably 3 or 4 times. But on a side note, not a side note, but I was looking for a movie calendar.
Yes.
I do. I wanted to see what movies were coming up this year, kind of refresh myself because I also wanted to recheck when the Thunderbolts was coming out and stuff like that. And I was searching and I landed on a website called the-numbers.com. Don't look it up.
Okay.
Later. I mean, listeners look it up. But I don't want you to look it up, Donnell, because you'll get spoiled on things.
Yeah.
It is a very basic website that gives you there's so much information on this website. This is like a research website for movies, but it also has its front end is like a blog.
Okay.
But then you start digging into it, and it has all sorts of stuff that IMDb wished it had, and it's very little advertising. Just you click on something, and there is the information you want, and it is very awesome. And I was going through it, and I found one of their sites is called, or one of their pages is called Movie Budgets and Financial Performance Records. They've got a whole research section where you can do in-depth researches on stuff.
Okay.
If you make your way to that page, at the bottom section, let's see, what does it have on it? So the first section is biggest budget movies. What do you think the biggest budget movie is full time?
Is it? I don't think. I'm just gonna throw this out. Let's see. Now, Avatar.
That is number 2. Or not, Avatar: The Way of the Water is number 2. Okay. Avatar itself doesn't even make the top 10.
Okay.
The biggest is Star Wars Episode 7: The Force Awakens. $553 million budget.
Man.
Made $2 billion gross. $1 billion domestic, so it did pretty well.
It did decent. It did all right, I guess.
Yeah. The next section, movies with the lowest budget to earn $1 million or more at the box office. The number one for that one is a Shudder film called Skinamarink. And its budget was $15,000, and it made $4 million. So pretty good there.
Yeah,
they did pretty good there.
That is impressive.
Yeah. Then the next section is most profitable movies. By the way, it gives the top 20 on all of these, but we're not going through all of them until the last one, which we'll talk about. Most profitable movies based on absolute profit worldwide gross. Avatar is number 1. Avengers Endgame is number 2. Then some Chinese movie that made a bunch of money. They've got I don't know, 4 billion people in China or something.
Yeah.
You make the biggest movie in China, and you're gonna just make $1 billion.
That's what I think is always interesting is how if you're looking at a list of most of something, how you're like, I've never even heard of that. I was like, but no other country in the world has to hear of something for it to be big numbers wise when it comes to China. It's just China by itself can support these things.
Most profitable movies based on return on investment. We don't need to go into any of that. Scoob is number 1, by the way. I don't know what Scoob is, but
wow,
because it had a budget of $90,000 and made $36 million back. So 40,792%.
That is impressive.
I mean, somebody made some bank on that. Anyway,
Scooby-Doo, man.
Now the section I want to focus on, and it'll be relevant to what I've been watching, is biggest money losers based on absolute loss on worldwide earnings.
Oh boy.
The first and Deepwater Horizon is on this list at number 18. It had a $189 million budget and only made $77 million. And that is a disgrace to me because Deepwater Horizon is a fantastic movie, and everyone who hears this should absolutely go watch it.
I will.
It is really good, and it is a shame, I tell you, that it did not at least make its budget back.
Yeah.
I think it probably just got killed. I think the oil companies came in and said, if you ever want any more investment from us, you got to kill this movie.
Now that you say that, at first I'm like, maybe it just did badly, but now that you say that, I'm like, you know what?
Because that movie does not paint the oil execs in a good light.
You know what? You gotta have a point there, Robert, because big oil doesn't want that out there.
So number 1 is Strange World. I don't really know what that is. It's some kind of cartoon thing. Another movie is called Turning Red. I don't really know what that is. Jungle Cruise is number 3. $269 million budget.
Jungle Cruise did well.
That's what I thought too. This is what's crazy to me. That's why I want to talk about this list. $264 million budget, only made $114 million. That it is the best, in my opinion. Oscar should win an Oscar for being the most Disney movie of all time.
Yeah.
It is really
good. You don't get more Disney than this.
It's The Rock. I don't think The Rock's a master. But he does good.
And
it's surprising to me that Jungle Cruise did not do well.
Yeah.
And it is a good movie, and if you're into Disney action movies, like G-rated Disney live action movies, Jungle Cruise is the best of them, and you should go see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mars Needs Moms. I don't know. I never watched it. Mulan. Actually, I'm not. Now, this is 2020. Yeah. So this is the live action.
Yeah. The live action.
I guess I can kind of understand that it didn't, but $200 million budget only made $60 million.
Okay.
I'm surprised they kept making the live action movies after that.
They just came out with a live action.
That's kind of a hard sell because that's COVID times.
But they just came out with a live action Snow White.
That made gangbusters.
But it is being slaughtered by everybody. It is. Everyone's like, this is the worst that they've done so far.
The Lion King one made a lot of money, didn't it? Yeah.
The Lion King made so much that they made a prequel live action, which the Lion King live action ones get on my nerves. I'm like, these are not live action because it's all CGI. It's realistic, maybe you could call it, but you can't call it a live action. There's not one living thing in this movie.
Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny at number 6 with a $342 million budget, which is crazy, and $203 million return.
Okay.
That's a good Indiana Jones movie. That's why anyone who likes Indiana Jones, Dial of Destiny is a perfectly fine addition to the franchise.
Okay, all
and
right.
Have you seen it?
No, but I'm not a fan of Indiana Jones. Like,
fair enough.
I watched the original 3 and I was never impressed with any of them. So when they made the 4th, I didn't bother, and the 5th, I was like, why would I?
This is an interesting one, number 7.
Okay.
Not unexpected, slightly upsetting, but very slightly.
Okay.
Only because I believe it's a good movie, and you do too.
Oh, I'm scared.
Moonfall.
Oh, come on.
Moonfall.
A great movie.
First of all, this is insane to me.
All right.
Just a guess, what do you think the budget for Moonfall was?
Is this right after Indiana Jones? Or is it farther down the list?
So the list is based on how much loss
so I
was.
guess that doesn't... Oh, man.
So you don't get to know unless you know what it cost.
Okay, so we had a bunch of CGI in Moonfall. It was crazy. I mean, I'm $90 million.
Really? That's low.
See, I was gonna go higher.
170 million.
I was thinking 145. But then I was like, maybe.
I would, if I didn't know, I would say Moonfall cost $300 million.
No, I was thinking like 145, 150 was what. But then
that's
a
big budget project with a lot of crazy CGI. That's what I was thinking. And like effects.
I wanted to throw some more money at it, but I was scared. I should have went with my original.
I guess there wasn't a lot of like high level actors.
No.
To like pay off. But anyway, $170 million budget, which I feel is cheap for Moonfall.
Yeah.
Only made $24 million. Sorry, $34 million. That Moonfall is a good.
Please go watch Moonfall.
If you like disaster films like The Day After Tomorrow and all that stuff, or 2012 or whatever, Moonfall is an amazing addition to that genre.
You're never gonna get another.
It is fantastic.
Not chasing, but a car scene where they're driving through as the world is literally.
You're never gonna see people
literally
fight the moon. They literally go to battle with the moon itself. It's psychotic and amazing.
I'm gonna need to watch Moonfall again tonight
to get those numbers up.
It needs it. Please,
classic disaster.
Help
movie.
fix this situation, folks. Please go watch Moonfall.
Number 8 is Wonder Woman 1984. Not surprised.
Not surprised at
all.
I'm
surprised it's not higher on the list. $300 million budget. Sorry, $258 million budget. I'm surprised it made $124 million.
Dang.
And Moonfall only made $34 million.
That's a crime against humanity right there.
Absolutely,
that is a crime against humanity.
This one surprises me, though I never saw it and cannot state whether it's good or bad.
Okay.
At number 9, Soul.
Soul.
So that's the all-black Pixar.
Oh, Soul.
Movie. Yeah. It cost $205 million to make. Mm-hmm. By the way, Moonfall only cost $170 million. Just saying. And it only made it $200 million budget, only made $71 million.
Okay.
I feel like that would have been like the Wakanda of Pixar.
Yeah.
Or something. But I never saw it, so I don't know if
I haven't seen it
either.
It's on my list because I've watched almost every Pixar movie.
You're failing your people, Donnell. You're part of the problem.
Yeah, I am apparently.
You know what my favorite thing
about... The whole Moonfall versus Soul thing, because you were pointing out that Moonfall is cheaper, but that's the difference, though, is live action with CGI is easier than having to, because you have established world that
also
you're
like
adding
the cast,
CGI into.
The cast for Soul
Soul also
insane.
has the cast.
It was funny. There was like a story about a driver for a driving company, like not like a taxi driver, but like, and not a limo driver, but like Lexuses or Mercedes or something, like that was ferrying people from the airport to Pixar. And he knew very rapidly that they were making an all-black Pixar movie because of all the like high-level singers and like black actors that he was ferrying to Pixar. And he was like, oh, they working on something. Yeah, they're working on something. Yeah. Some movie called Onward is at number 10. I don't know what that's about.
That's another Disney movie, or another, and I think it's Pixar. Ooh, Pixar has 2 on the list.
$217 million.
Pixar used to be printing money. That was what they were known for.
$217 million to an $87 million return.
What happened, Pixar?
This one I understand, but don't like as well. Number 11, The Matrix Resurrections. So this is the 4th Matrix movie that came out 15, 20 years later. It only made, so $218 million budget only made $89 million. I guess just no one was interested. I liked it.
I
like
Resurrections. I actually felt Resurrections worked out fairly well. I was very hesitant going into it because I was like, this seems like a travesty waiting to happen. But I was pleasantly surprised.
No,
I'll be honest.
I thought it was fine for what it was. I mean, it's not as good as the trilogy.
No, not at all.
Saying something because the third movie wasn't great. So, my friend who says he's only watched 50 movies, he says I've only seen the first Matrix. I'm like, you're good. Yeah, you're good, buddy. You don't have to watch them others.
Don't worry about anything else. You're solid.
Haunted Mansion, which is crazy to me.
Really? That?
Disney's 186 million. Well,
than I would
they make a lot of stuff though.
They do make
$186 million budget to $61 million. This one does not surprise me, but it's pretty close on what. Just because the budget was so high is the reason that it made number 13 on this list. Solo, a Star Wars story.
Okay,
but its budget was $375 million. Yeah, it still made $250 million.
Okay,
so they probably broke even on that with the taxes and everything. So I'm just not surprised. But Lightyear, surprising to me.
Lightyear was not well received.
I mean, I figured just a lot of people and kids would have gone to see it and bought tickets, even if it turned out to be bad, before they figured out it was bad.
There was a divide.
Oh, you know what? You're right. That got bombed because there was like some culture war stuff that happened with it.
There was a gay kiss in it.
Yeah.
That was
number 15.
That was too much.
The Suicide Squad.
Wait, that's the good one though, isn't it?
I know. Let me make sure. But this is the
Suicide Squad, because the matters. That's what I always remember saying. The matters.
This is the good one.
If you watch Suicide Squad, oh, dude, I actually saw a
$218 million budget.
Yeah,
which I'm surprised. That seems cheap to me for what that movie is. Only made $100 million. Everyone listening now, this is one of the greatest and funnest movies of all time. It's the only time that I've checked to see how much longer we had on the movie and got excited that there was more time than I thought. I thought there were about 30 minutes left. It turned out there was an hour, and I got giddy that I got to spend another hour with watching The Suicide Squad. It came out in 2021. I've seen it 100 times.
I've watched it so many times,
I've seen it 100 times.
It is fantastic.
I watch it once a month. Yeah. It is amazing, and it is a travesty that they think.
But I also know why. It's because, like I said, they didn't make enough distinction that this wasn't a continuation of the normal. I mean, it was in a sense, but it wasn't just like the same people. Because the Suicide Squad was bad, and everybody saw it, and they're like, "Oh, this is terrible."
Sorry, Suicide Squad.
Oh yeah, Suicide Squad was bad. I was saying but not as part of the title. I was more referring. But so Suicide Squad was bad. And so everybody had that in their opinion. And then when they started with the Suicide Squad, they didn't really show that this is kind of a soft reboot. This is different. We brought in stuff. And so I understand that. But people go out and watch it. Also, just real quick, I was once on this forum that was like talking about the two, the Suicide Squad and the Suicide Squad. And on the forum, they were like, they're just comparing them. And then this one dude jumped in and was like, I don't know, they're both garbage to me. And it was just so funny, because everybody who was in this forum obviously was fans of the Suicide Squad. So after his comments, like, they're both bad. I don't know why you're talking about just nonstop. All the people, are you kidding me? Have you even watched blah blah? You just I was like, you came into the wrong forum.
So it came out August 2021, and we were still recovering from COVID. So that maybe
that also probably played.
I'm wondering if it probably made it back on DVD sales or Blu-ray sales or whatever. Assuming people still do Blu-ray and DVD or streaming. I would imagine it's probably had a positive return.
I hope so.
Over time, but
I mean, actually, I bet.
I wish I had known. I didn't go to the theater for it, but
neither did I. But it would have been great.
If I could go back in a time machine or Quantum Leap or something, I would go and see it at the theater for sure.
I mean, my theory. I mean, not that this is the only reason, but like it had to do well enough for DC to say, "Hey, James Gunn, do you want to run our whole?" Run the whole thing. So it had to do well enough for that.
That's the end of the really upsetting ones, other than Deepwater Horizon at 18. The rest of the list is John Carter, obviously, King Arthur, the legendary Legend of the Sword, and from 2017. Huh?
I said, hey, Guy Ritchie, who I was talking about earlier.
Chaos Walking, which was not good. And Monster Trucks, which I don't even know what's going on there. Yeah. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting to go through that.
That
list.
is quite.
There's some upsetting things there.
There's a lot in there that I'm surprised by. All right, real quick, want to circle back because we had talked about MCU, what's coming up next, and all that sort of stuff. And so I got it pulled up here, and I had it already queued to where I needed it, and then I accidentally scrolled past.
Now, does this include shows, or is this just
just the movies? So one is because they don't really.
Because we're gonna get Armor Wars before.
Well, we'll get there. So one is something I didn't know because it was a lot clearer for the first 3 phases. But Thunderbolt, which comes out next May, is the end of Phase 5. Wasn't even aware we had moved from 4 to 5 or that we're going into 6. But
wait, we were going to start Phase 6 with Doomsday, basically?
No, we are starting Phase 6 with the Fantastic Four.
Okay.
And then
which is barely part of the same universe.
Well, here's the thing. What is officially scheduled or officially known right now is Phase 6 is Fantastic Four on July 25th.
Which I'm still very tentative on.
So everybody should be. Every single time anybody
not feeling a lot of hype about Fantastic Four.
No, at all. If they can do it, it'll be amazing.
I don't have a lot of hype, and I'm not feeling it from others.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling it from the actors.
Yeah, not feeling it from anyone.
I'm not feeling like there's a lot of budget into the advertisements for it, which really is not great.
Yeah,
they're just kind of like, okay, let's just release this and see how much money we can get and never talk about it again.
But yeah, so Fantastic Four, July 25th. Then we have Avengers Doomsday, May 1st, 2026. Spider-Man, Brand New Day, July 31st, 2026. Avengers Secret War, May 7th, 2027, right? Yeah. So 4 movies. But here's the interesting thing is Disney has February 13th and November 6th of 2026 scheduled for releases, but we don't know what movies. But of the upcoming movies, one we just mentioned, we have what we do know is in the hopper is there's Armor Wars, Black Panther 3, Blade, the second Shang-Chi movie, and the X-Men movie. So any one of those 5 could end up in those 2 slots.
Well, Armor Wars is going to be a show.
No, Armor Wars is a movie now.
Oh.
Yeah, they moved.
It was a show.
It was a show. They moved it to a movie, and it is one of the announced movies that doesn't have a scheduled date, but we know there's 2 dates, February 13th and November 6th.
Do you see that as a positive thing or negative thing that they moved it from a show to a movie? I feel like a positive.
Yeah, positive.
They're like, this is so good that we can make it. We can send it. To
I actually see it a little bit differently. I see it as, especially after sort of thing is we not that it's that I see it as, we got something good here, but if we make this into a show, it will be so dragged out that it will do badly. So let's get to the meat of what's needed. Put that in a movie. But also,
I don't see it. In my head, I'm just like, I don't see how that works. Where it's just like, we've ordered a 6-episode or 8-episode show, but they're like, we just can't find the content.
I mean,
it's like that doesn't bode well for the character. Or
my thought is my thought is also this is, and we've seen it actually. Daredevil. I mean, that wasn't a bad episode, but still, that last week's of the 2 episodes, that first episode in the bank, really just felt like filler content and stuff. And so like my thing is like there's still good core stuff, and like so I'm thinking if you did a 6-episode miniseries of Armor Wars, that's 6 hours roughly, and then like if you make a movie, that's probably 2.5 2 hours. Yeah, 45.
No, I
so
like
just trimming some fat.
No, I like what I hope in my head was what happened is they got the show, they got the budget, and they said, look, we can do the show, but it's Armor Wars. It's going to be a bunch of people in the Iron Man armor doing cool things.
Yep.
And if we take this money and stretch it across 6, 8, 10 episodes, it's gonna look like crap. Yeah. We can get it done, or we can let us convert this into a movie. Let us keep the same budget, and we can make it look awesome.
Well, so anyway. Interestingly, and last thing I'm going to put out here, and then we can wrap this up. So it sounds like it's not going to be. Oh wait, no, I read that wrong. Never mind. It's nothing. I was going to say it sounds like Armor Wars isn't going to happen before the Avengers movies, but that's because it says it's supposed to be after Secret Invasion, and I was thinking Secret Wars, but no, it's after Secret Invasion.
And it's somewhere in there. We're supposed to get, I think 27. We're supposed to get the rest of the Spider-Verse movie.
Hopefully,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Better. They need to.
Those artists are in those sweatshops drawing like crazy. Anyway, good times. All right, that's the show. Thank you for joining us. Again, check out our website, watchinpod.com. There you can find our new blogs. You can also email us, watchinpodcast@gmail.com. Please support us on Patreon and Spotify, or just send us money or something.
Well, they'd have to know where to send us money.
Hey, email us, watchinpodcast@gmail.com. We will tell you the routing number. Donnell, what else should they do?
Well, as always, if you enjoy the show, as Robert said, give us any rating reviews, 5 stars. That all helps us with getting ourselves out there. We're looking to do some. Like I said, we already got a episode with a friend of the podcast, Bob. We were just on his podcast, so go over there to Static Radio, check that out. But we're looking to do some more guest spots, so we're gonna have some more guests on the show. We'll be going to some other podcasts. We'll keep you informed on that. So just get some more eyes on us. And thanks so much for listening. Bye.